Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about a pair of very special smart speakers, and they are from Edifier. These are the Edifier MS50A, and the side panel, they are made of real wood, okay, and that was actually a selling point. Now, for the longest time, Edifier has gotten in touch with me to ask me to see if I'm interested in reviewing their speakers. Now, Edifier has been around for a very, very long time. I think from back like 10, 20 years ago, I've seen a lot of their speakers available in consumer electronics stores. And I have mostly resisted them because they seem to be performing more of computer speakers or PC speakers, if you may, and it didn't really appeal to me. Now, when Edifier got in touch with me to tell me about the newly launched MS50A, I took a look at it and I was actually suitably impressed. And I said, okay, I will review this. Now, look at the finishing on these speakers. These are wooden panels. It's not the thickest and not the heaviest brace. After all, these are relatively affordable speakers. Now, if you look at the top, you have a power on-off button with a LED ring, which will light up. And if you are trying to connect via Bluetooth, it will glow up in blue. And there are two arrow buttons. Actually, the arrow buttons are for volume down and volume up, which is a little bit strange. In the bottom, you will see there's a play pause button. So you can actually control these speakers with touch-sensitive buttons. Now, a little bit more about Edifier, this pair of speakers. It is supposed to be a pair of smart speakers. So what it does is it enables you to actually stream and use Alexa, all right? So any service that Alexa can connect to, including Spotify, you will be able to stream them directly to these speakers. So these are Wi-Fi enabled speakers. So that would mean that you don't actually need Bluetooth. But what if you wanted Bluetooth? So these pair of speakers are also Bluetooth enabled. So you can actually connect to them via Bluetooth. Now, if you take a look at the bottom, there is one port for power, and that is it. There's no Ethernet jack, so you don't have to actually connect via Ethernet. The whole speaker is Bluetooth capable. Now, these grills are also removable. So if I were to help let you take a look. Now, these are there are two cones here. One is the tweeter for the high end, and the low end as well as the mid will be handled by the woofer. So there's an individual amp powering each of these. 15 watts go to the tweeter and 25 watts go towards the mid-bass woofer. Now, these are relatively small woofers right here, but when you hear the sound, what is actually coming out surprised me, all right? And I said, I will test these speakers. If they sound great, I will release something. If not, they have to take it back and I can't release a video. And if you look at the bottom here, this slot here is actually a port for the speakers. So this is a ported design, which enables the bass to reach levels that are suitably impressive for something this size. So this is a lot bigger than the Sonos one that some of you viewers are familiar with. So I didn't want this channel to be specifically and solely on Sonos, and I didn't want to come across like a Sonos fanboy, but they are really in general very good sounding speakers. But when this Edifier came by, I'm not saying that they do sound better or worse than the Sonos ones, which will be the closest comparison. But for the price that you're going to be paying for this, they actually perform very well. Now, there is an app that is actually paired and comes with the Edifier. I will show you more about the app in a little bit, but let me just tell you about further capabilities of this pair. Now, you will see in front of me, I actually have a pair of them. Right? And because you can use them singly, it will accept connections via Bluetooth. It will also accept connections via AirPlay and also directly streaming from the streaming services. Right? And you can pair them up in stereo to give you a stereo pair. Now, at this point, I am going to have to talk about the app itself. Now, the reason why I want to talk about the app is because of the speed that this guy works at. So I have already set up the app itself. So you will see that I have two speakers, two Edifier MS50A being connected, and one is to the left and one is to the right. Now, how do you set up in stereo pair? You click this button here, okay? And you'll see two devices which you can click and pull, and it will assign left and right. And that is all. You click next. Okay, you name the stereo pair, confirm.
Left channel.
And it is done. All right. And it plays a sound to tell you which is the left channel.
Right channel.
Right. And that's the right channel. And if you click on it, you can actually swap
right
them
channel.
around. And
left channel.
It will identify itself. So this app is amazingly easy to use. So under settings, you can rename them again. You can link them to your Amazon account as well. All right. Now, say you want to split them and you want to put them in different rooms and you want them to also break the stereo pair. You click on this, unpair, confirm, yes, and that's it. It is done. It is that simple. Now, once again, all right, it's so easy to pair them into stereo.
Left channel.
And that's it. Okay, so if you look at this app and compare with any of the speaker apps, the smart speaker apps that are out there, where the whole setup process and the pairing process is so convoluted, this is a breath of fresh air. Now, usability is really nothing if it doesn't sound like how you want it to sound. Now, bear in mind the price of this speaker I'm putting out on the screen. I don't remember offhand, but the performance from this actually is pretty amazing. I first set up one of these, right? And when it started playing, I was like, hey, actually, that is not too bad coming out from a pair of speakers. And from this speaker, that is actually less than half the height of the studio monitor that I have here. So I had to do this. I pulled out my trusty mic and I started measuring the frequency response, right? Now, when I start doing the frequency response, you will know that I mean business, right? Because not all speakers, I actually put them through the frequency response suite. And why I did it for this pair of Edifier is simply because I was suitably impressed and I wanted to really find out what is the kind of response that we are getting out of this pair of speakers, right? So I'm pulling it up right here. You will see, okay, I'm sorry about the sound, the rubber rubbing against the wood surface. All right, so from here, you will see two curves, all right? And let me just hide one of the curves first. So this green curve here is the Edifier MS50 in its single configuration. So this is what is coming out from one speaker. Now, this part is the lower bass, this is the mid-range, and that's the treble side, all right? Treble side is all right. You will notice that the mid bass is actually peaking quite high. In this particular room that I've tested it out, I would say that you will decently hear something right down to about 40 odd hertz or so, right? If you draw the line here. Now, when you couple that fact and it corroborates what I was hearing, right? The bass response from this pair of Edifiers MS50 is actually suitably impressive. Now, if you want to get one of these, my recommendation is to get two of these because we have 2 years and I always recommend buying speakers in stereo because that's how music is meant to be heard and enjoyed. Now, the red curve here that I've pulled out, right? This is actually when it is configured in stereo. Right, you see that the bass response is enhanced just a little bit. Okay, the peak response output is still the same, but it does go a little bit deeper. But what is interesting is that from about 1 kilohertz onwards, the treble response is actually very, very much improved. So when they are combined in a stereo pair, the interaction, right, the processing that happens behind it, for some reason, it does bump up the higher frequencies quite a bit, and the speakers sound a lot airier. All right. So again, if you are in this channel, if you are on my channel looking for Sonos speakers, this may not be something that you want to consider. But if you came here trying to seek validation on whether the Edifier MS50As are suitable considerations when you don't need or don't want a pair of Sonos speakers, after all, Sonos are not cheap now. And I would say with conviction that you can safely put your money on the Edifier MS50As. They are actually that good. So I'm putting my recommendation behind this. I have also left affiliate links to the Amazon store down below where you can buy these. Now again, I always have trouble and I grapple with myself to see whether I should be recommending something that will give me some form of money in terms of commission from Amazon. But if you're going to buy them anyway, using the link will help me keep producing videos like this. But if it is not something that you want to buy, don't have to support me that way. There are plenty of ways, like liking this, like sharing and commenting, and also subscribing to the channel. And I will see you in my next video.